Alright y'all, so I just saw the FNAF movie yesterday and I watched it in theaters first and then I came home to watch it a second time on Peacock and now I'm here doing the review. So let me just start off by saying that this movie was good. It was a good movie. I don't know what the critics were talking about, but this was a good movie. It was a solid, I say it was a solid 8. And I know I'm kind of rushing into the score of the movie, but I just had to start off the video with that because I know a lot of people were kind of worried about how this movie was going to be because the critics and everyone were giving it like low scores and all that stuff. But after seeing it, I don't know why they gave it that low of a score. I guess maybe because they're not FNAF fans and this movie was made for FNAF fans. So I guess I can kind of see that, but yeah, I don't know why they gave it that low of a score. It was definitely not a 30 or a 20. It was a good movie. It was pretty solid. But let me go more in depth because there's some things I want to say about this movie. But I will tell you that this part of the video is spoiler free. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you're good. I'll tell you when we're going to get into like spoilers. So don't worry, alright? But let's start off with the story because the story was actually pretty interesting all the way through. I'm not gonna lie, but that's just me. I know some people had a little bit of issues with the story, just a little bit, not too major. But depending on who you are, you might not even kind of see the issues with the story. You might just sit there and enjoy it, which is what I did because I'm not really a critical person when it comes to movies. I just kind of like watching movies, and if I'm entertained, then I like the movie, and that's what this movie was. It was entertaining all the way through. There were really no points in the movie where I thought like, can we like get on to the next part or whatever? I really don't want to see this. Like all the way through, I was like, okay, what is this? I was like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. Like even the parts where like the animatronics aren't shown, it was still interesting. The story there was really interesting. I can't lie. But now I think we can talk about the characters because the characters and story tie in with each other. And I'm gonna be honest, the characters were cool. Not anything too special, but they were definitely cool. We have our main character Mike and his sister Abby. Those are two really good characters. Their dynamic in the movie was really nice to see. I really liked that. Vanessa the Night Guard was actually a good character too. I liked her character a lot. There's another character, we'll talk about that later. That's a spoiler character, so we're not gonna talk about that right now. But yeah, not too much on the characters. I don't want to say too much about that because you know that relates into the story and like kind of spoilers. So I'm not gonna say too much about that right now. But I guess since I'm talking about the characters, we could talk about the animatronics because those are characters too. And the animatronics were actually really cool. They are definitely like the main stars of this movie. I mean, the movie is called Five Nights at Freddy's, so of course the animatronics would be the main stars of the show, but you know, they were really good. I really liked the animatronics, especially the fact that they are actually like real and not CGI. That made the movie like 10 times better. I'm sorry, that was just so cool to see. I know some points of the movie they had like actual people in like suits, and even for those parts I couldn't tell if they were in suits, but for some of the parts you could tell they were in suits because you know the animatronic wouldn't be like doing that movement. Like it's pretty obvious, but they do sell it really well. The people who acted in those suits really sold the robot like effect really well, or animatronic effect I should say. They sold it really well, so it didn't really take me out of the film. It was just like, oh, okay, I think that's definitely someone in the suit. But I was kind of like 50-50. But the animatronics themselves, they were really good. I really want to see them in person one day. Hopefully they have like another like thing where you can see like the animatronics from the movie in person. That would be really cool. And the details on the animatronics, they look one-to-one to the game. I know everyone has been saying that, but I just got to reiterate it again because the animatronics look amazing. Like they're so cool. They're really cool. Oh, and then the pizzeria too. I think they really did a good job of importing the game pizzeria to the movie because in the game pizzeria, I guess the layout wouldn't really make sense for the movie because you got like the two hallways and then like the office in the middle, which wouldn't kind of make sense for an actual pizzeria. It only works in the games because, well, it's a game. But they did change the office in this movie because the office in the game had like 2 doors. In this game, or in I said in this game. In this movie, there's only 1 door. So it's not like a 2-door system. You have a door and then a vent in this movie. So it's not like one-to-one to the game, which is perfectly fine. I didn't expect them to like make a whole movie of Mike sitting in the office, like switching cams, and then closing both doors. Like that movie, I'm sorry, that would be really boring. I wouldn't even want to watch that. I guess before we talk about spoilers, we should talk about the scare factor of the movie. And I'm gonna be completely honest, it wasn't scary to be honest. But it was suspenseful in some parts. Some of the parts of the movie were suspenseful, so they did a really good job with that, which I guess could be considered fear. So I guess in that aspect, yeah, they did a good job with the suspense. But in terms of jump scares, I mean, I think at least 2 of them, I didn't see coming. Like they just came out of nowhere, so those ones are really good. But the other ones were kind of like, yeah, I know what's gonna happen right here. All quiet and then boom, like yeah. But even though we did see it coming, it was still cool to see. So now we are done with the non-spoiler section and we are moving on to the spoiler section of the video. So if you haven't seen the movie, you know what to do. Click off, and I appreciate you for watching this video. Alright, now let's move on. So since we were kind of on the topic of the scare factor in the non-spoiler section of the video, that kind of leads us into the kills of the movie. And I'm gonna be honest, there weren't that many. There weren't even that many on screen. I mean, you saw them die, but like they cut away. The only one you really saw on screen was the one where she like went into Freddy halfway and then she got like chopped in half, which was, honestly, I was not expecting that. When I first saw that, I said, what the? Because like it caught me so off guard, because the way they showed it in the trailer, I thought she was just gonna get like taken into the animatronic and it was gonna cut. But I didn't expect there to be an actual cut. Like that was crazy. That was crazy. And yeah, you know, the other ways the other people died, I mean, Carl the Cupcake, that one was goofy, but like when they showed like the body later in the movie, it was like, wow, that cupcake really did that to him. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then I think the dude who died in the closet with Bonnie, I think they definitely could have showed that. Like they could have showed like Bonnie, like, I don't know, like hitting his head against like the wall or something, or hitting his head against like the door or something, and then they could have cut. I would have taken that. That would have been really cool to see. But you know, I guess they didn't want to show it, so you know, it's whatever. It's whatever. And then the one with Foxy, that one was cool because we saw him run down the hallway. I wish like we kind of got like a shot of like Foxy about to like, I don't know, bite his face or something, and then you could have cut. I mean, we sort of got that, but like they kind of showed it from Foxy's perspective. I wish we kind of saw it from like the camera perspective. Maybe that would have been kind of cool, and we could have saw like Foxy like almost bite his head or something like that. That would have been kind of cool to see. But yeah, they just cut, which was, it was a little disappointing, but they did a good job still. But yeah, those were the kills. I know they weren't too gory or anything. Like I know a lot of people were expecting like a lot of blood and all that stuff, but yeah, that is not in this movie. But that does bring us onto our next topic, which is William Afton in the Springlock scene. And I'm gonna be honest, when he came into the building, like that was the coolest moment of the movie. Like everyone in my theater started like cheering and all that stuff. They started clapping, which they started clapping in a lot of sections. Like I know I'm kind of like jumping from topic to topic, but I gotta go back, because when Math Pat showed up in the movie, like I heard his voice like before everyone else in the theater. I was like, oh snap, Math Pat. And then everyone like saw his face after, and then everyone like erupted. That was cool to see. That was cool to see. Like seeing this movie in the theaters was an event. It was an event for sure. And then when Corey came in, like everyone knew he was in the movie, but it was still cool to see. Everyone cheered at that part and all that stuff. But now that I talked about that, let's go back to Afton. Let's go back to Afton. When he walked into the building, that was like really cool. That was a really cool shot that they started out with, and he like creeped up on Mike and he just kept walking through, and then like you see him like stand up like really tall and all that. And it was just a really cool reveal. And then I didn't expect this, but like this dude Afton charged at Mike and pushed him halfway across the room. Like how much strength does he have? And not only that, but when Afton kicked Mike, he kicked him halfway up in the air. That was just crazy. I'm sorry, that was crazy. Oh, the fact that they changed some of the lore with Vanessa, they made her William Afton's daughter, which was a very interesting change. I'm really curious to see how that'll affect the later movies, because we are getting like 2 more movies. So that was the thing that people were kind of talking about when they said like there was like lore changes and all that stuff. So I get that people might not like it, but I have a feeling that what Scott's doing will make sense once we see like the other 2 movies. I feel like it'll all come around full circle. But you know what, let's just get to the Springlock scene, because I was really about explaining the whole like build up to it, but then I realized I haven't been explaining the whole entire movie, so it'd be kind of weird if I did that. But let's just talk about the Springlock scene. The Springlock scene, honestly, it was a good scene, but I know that a lot of people were expecting way more from it. Like I know a bunch of people were expecting a lot of blood, a lot of screaming and all that stuff. Kind of like how they've been theorizing for like years and years about like how it actually would sound in real life, and like the audio people have been making and animations and all that stuff. So when it comes to the movie, it was definitely a lot tamer than what people were expecting, which I'm not mad about, because they still made it work in this movie, because you still felt kind of like the pain of like the Springlocks going inside of them, because you still saw it and all that stuff, and like you heard like the crunches and all that, and like every time it crunched, it kind of make you go like ugh, ooh. But it was still a good scene, I can't even lie. I watched that scene like at least 5 times now, because I actually like that scene. It's a good scene. And then also I thought it was really cool how the animatronics like dragged him away, and they like took him to the back room, and then the spirit of Golden Freddy watches Afton die very, very slowly as he closes the door to the back room. And that's the end of the movie. That was a lot of stuff. I might have missed some things, so I'm sorry about that. But there was just so much to talk about with this movie. But overall, like I said in the beginning, I thought this movie was good. I think it's a solid 8. And this is coming from a FNAF fan, so take that as you will. But I thought the movie was a solid 8. I thought it was good. But let me know what you guys thought of the movie in the comment section. I'm really interested to hear different opinions about the movie. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.